Welcome to Business Matters, a program produced by the Middlesex West Chamber of Commerce in conjunction with ActonTV. I'm your host, Kathleen McDonald, Executive Director of the Middlesex West Chamber of Commerce. Business Matters is a program which features chamber members and highlights information important to businesses in the Middlesex West community. Today I have the pleasure of welcoming to Business Matters Terrie Enis, Director of Rehabilitation Services at Emerson Hospital. Welcome, Terrie.
Well, thank you, Kathleen. It's great to be here.
Thank you so much, and we're so glad to have you. And can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your background?
Sure. So I've been the director at Emerson for about 7 years now in rehab services, but my background is in physical therapy. So I've been a physical therapist for about 25 years. It's been a long time.
That's wonderful. That's great. I understand that rehabilitative care at Emerson Hospital includes both adult and pediatric physical therapy, occupational therapy, and speech therapy, and they're provided for at the Centers for Rehabilitative and Sports Therapies in 3 locations, Westford, Concord, and the Thoreau Club.
Yes, that's right.
So tell me about the vision for the rehabilitative and sports therapies and also the Cantu Concussion Center.
Well, the vision for that is, we know that rehab services provide such an important role in the community. What's important for the young athlete is just as important as we age. We look at the entire individual, particularly when we're talking about physical therapy, which really focuses on, functional mobility, strength and conditioning. Occupational therapy, we look at, vision and, just being able to live independently on your own. And speech pathology, we look at swallowing, social pragmatics, all the things that, when we tie it up in a neat little bow, it's really about being healthy and happy and living independently. Mm-hmm. The vision is really to be part of the community, taking the person from birth till whatever age, mm-hmm. and keeping them happy and healthy.
Mm-hmm. So how does the vision for these particular centers now fit in the scope of the hospital's overall vision?
Well, the mission for the hospital is to be the community center for health and wellness. And that's where we fit in. Physical therapy, not only do we fix people that are broken, mm-hmm. but we really aim to keep them from getting broken. So again, it's all about function and mobility, strength, flexibility, all of those things.
Mm. So to meet those goals, what services do you offer?
Well, we have pediatric services in all 3 disciplines, PT, OT, and speech. We certainly have a robust movement disorder program, so folks that might have Parkinson's disease or mm-hmm. multiple sclerosis. We have an aquatics therapy program. We have strength and conditioning programs for our athletes. And we have everything that you would need to treat, for example, an orthopedic. That's the majority of our patients are orthopedic patients. Mm-hmm. Just this weekend warriors, spraining ankles, total hips, total joints, those types of things.
Mm-hmm. And are all these services available at these 3 centers?
Yes, except for the aquatics, the pool. That's only available in the Concord Center.
Mm-hmm. And Terrie, tell me, are you seeing particular trends in rehabilitative care and also in concussion care?
We are. For example, our total hips and total knee replacements, we're seeing mm-hmm. a younger population. Mm-hmm. I think as people age, they're realizing that they don't have to accept the new norm in terms of pain and limited activity, so they're mm-hmm. Going earlier for total hips and total knee replacements. We're certainly seeing people take more of a participatory role in their health care. They don't want to go quietly into the night, so to speak. So they really rely on physical therapy and all the other therapists to keep them active. We're seeing a lot of people come in for assessments. You know, do I really need physical therapy? Our doctors we're seeing they're starting to refer more often. You know what? I think this might be going on. I'm going to refer you to one of our disciplines to tease things out. They may or may not need therapy, which we recognize, but people still need help. And then it's kind of like, well, there's more things that we can do.
So tell me, what work is being done in terms of injury prevention as well as sports conditioning, so we prevent farther down the line some of those injuries?
So we have a program, it's called the Total Athlete, and that is really for, you know, those high school and college level and the, you know, even postgraduate kind of folks that want to stay very active and competitive. That's a total assessment for the athlete in terms of balance, flexibility, strength, all of the components that you would need to participate in any sport. And we look at it sports specifically. So if you're a soccer player, you're going to do a lot of stopping and starting and cutting. If you're a tennis player, your motions are more lateral. So we're going to look at, you know, shuffling on the court side to side. Of course, if you're a runner, that's just a straightforward motion. So we really break it down into the sport that the athlete is playing. Now, that's not to say that somebody that's in their 80s, those types of things are just as important. Balance is so important as we age, flexibility and strength. So those three things, they carry with us through our entire life. And so we also have programs where we can take an assessment and look at somebody and say, you know, I just want to be able to play with my grandkids. And we have the ability to work with them and find out where their strengths and their weaknesses are, what programs they should be doing, and how they should direct their activities.
So tell me, what's the age range of people that you treat?
We treat infants to 90 years old and older. There, you know, there's no age limit.
Can you give me cite an example of some typical patients?
I think probably the most typical patient is probably that 40 to 55-year-old, and it's orthopedic, and it's primarily spine related. We see a lot of neck pain, back pain, and then of course it's the rotator cuff sprains and strains, and rotator cuff repairs would probably come in third after that.
And are you seeing injuries that are related to posture at work, or, you know, being bent over a computer for hours? Are you seeing injuries that are occupational related?
Absolutely. You know, I always tell people, I said, if you're going to physical therapy, you're going to have the conversation about posture and body mechanics, because that's really what it boils down to. But yes, we see a lot of, you know, folks that are sedentary in their work, and they have a lot of neck and shoulder back pain. Absolutely. And then, you know, the opposite extreme is, and we see it a lot with, you know, people in healthcare, they hurt their back, oftentimes caring for patients. It's kind of a hazard of the profession. But we see a lot of work-related injuries as well.
So tell me, what will people find at Emerson Hospital in particular that they won't find elsewhere? What do you think are those specializations?
Well, I think in terms of specializations, it's really the knowledge base and the skill set of our therapists. I think one of the things that really sets us apart from any other institution is our therapists come to work every day with a passion. And that's, I really believe, how we've gotten to where we are today, is we tap into our staff passion. And then they then take that and develop programs and real specialized skill set. So for example, we have an extremely rare pediatric team, PTOT and speech, and they work so closely together that if a pediatric patient happens to be in occupational therapy, working on handwriting and table skills, and they see like, gee, this child can't sit still in a chair. Let's have a conversation with physical therapy and see if there's some type of strengthening that needs to be done, or something that we can carry over and really treat the entire patient. Certainly we have, again, our Parkinson's program. We have LSVT, Big and Loud, which is Lee Silverman voice training. Big is for the therapy, and loud is for the voice. And the earlier we see these folks with Parkinson's, the better. And of course, our concussion care team. That's extremely unique in that we have our medical team and our rehabilitative team under one roof. And it's live, real-time communication going on while the patient is in with the physician. We might be having a conversation saying, okay, what's the best course for rehabilitation for this concussion patient? How can we get them back into their life sooner? You can have all the bells and whistles in terms of equipment, but if you don't have that staff, it doesn't mean anything. And I truly believe what sets us apart is our staff.
And the integration that you have so that your teams are working together is just perfect. It's really speaking to integrated health for the patient.
Right. We like to think of it as almost like a health alliance, interprofessional care. We really think of it as the rehab team and the physician, and there's so much out there on patient-centered care that's really what we want to accomplish, and if the patient has a good experience and a good outcome, then everybody wins.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Can you tell me, are there some exciting new developments coming?
Well, I think one of our, we have a few on the fire.
Oh, great.
One of the newest that we're super excited about is we just received a very large grant from the Oak Foundation to do some research on concussion rehabilitation, as well as outreach. And I'm really excited about the outreach. So we will be going out to schools and nonprofit organizations doing concussion education, not just for the kids, but also for the parents, the school nurses, the coaches. Will be able to offer baseline concussion testing. So it's very exciting. We're really excited about that.
And there's a conference coming up?
Yes, there's a big conference, a concussion seminar, one-day conference. We have Dr. Cantu will be the main speaker. We have Dr. Zavantis and Dr. Iverson and Ann McKee from BU. Bryce Salvador, professional hockey player. So we have a very heavy hitters, I like to say. And the concussion seminar is really going to focus on the medical background of concussion, but more importantly, what are we doing to care for our patients? A lot of times people think, well, I have to rest in a dark room. Well, there's actually research that's kind of showing itself now that rest is good, but too much rest can also have adverse effects. So we're going to investigate all of those things at this Concussion Center conference.
Wonderful.
Yes.
That sounds fantastic. So Terrie, for our viewers, if they want to find out more information, how would they best be able to get involved with the rehabilitative services at Emerson?
The easiest way is to go on emersonhospital.org and look up under the medical services, and when it drops down, you will see the Center for Rehabilitative and Sports Therapies, and just click on that and you can navigate all through. It will get you to the Concussion Center. It will get you to all of the different physical, occupational, and speech-language pathology services that we offer. And you'll be able to meet all of our therapists. All of their bios are online, which is often really important. So everything is right there.
That's great. That's really wonderful. And I wish Emerson Hospital and your rehabilitative centers much success in the future.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you for coming to Business Matters.
It's been my pleasure.
Oh, thank you. I'd like to mention to our viewers about the Reinvent Your Business Conference taking place on Friday, October 21st from 8:30 to 3 p.m. at the Ken Olson Auditorium at 4 Millen Main Place in Maynard. This one-day business conference is groundbreaking. It is being co-produced by the Middlesex West Chamber of Commerce and the Metro West Chamber of Commerce and features topics important to companies of all sizes and sectors, including customer experience, human resource challenges, how to use technology effectively, and growth strategies through different business models. Pre-registration is encouraged. For more information, please contact the Chamber through its website at mwcoc.com or call us at 978-263-0010. We will be back shortly with our next guest. A groundbreaking business conference is taking place right here in Middlesex. Hello, I'm Kathleen McDonald, Executive Director of the Middlesex West Chamber of Commerce, and I'm excited to tell you about the Reinvent Your Business Conference, taking place on Friday, October 21st from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. at 4 Mill and Main Place in Maynard. Reinvent Your Business Conference is being co-produced by the Middlesex West Chamber of Commerce and the Metro West Chamber of Commerce and features topics important to businesses of all sizes and sectors, as well as great informal and structured networking opportunities for all who attend. Business leaders and owners from Westford to Natick will be attending this dynamic conference. Chamber membership is not required to attend. A continental breakfast and lunch will be served. The key conference sessions are the magic of customer experience. Our morning keynote address will feature customer experience transformist Bruce Temkin, who is managing partner of the Temkin Group. There will be a panel on growth strategies through different business models. The afternoon keynote address will be by Michelle Levy, author of the book Building Your Brand, who will focus on effectively applying technology in marketing your business. There will also be a panel of professionals targeting human resource challenges. These are issues of great importance to businesses of all sizes and sectors. For more information and to register, go online to mwcoc.com or call the Chamber office at 978-263-0010. Space is limited for the structured speed networking sessions that will take place at 8 to 9 a.m. Registrations will be accepted on a first-come, first-served basis. The Middlesex West Chamber of Commerce is an 8-town regional chamber serving the communities of Acton, Boxborough, Carlisle, Concord, Littleton, Maynard, Stowe, and Westford. We are very appreciative of the Chamber's corporate sponsors. They are Care One at Concord, Emerson Hospital, Middlesex Savings Bank, and Westford Regency Inn and Conference Center. The mission of the Middlesex West Chamber of Commerce is to strengthen our communities by voicing support for and advocating the promotion of business. Don't delay in reserving your tickets for this groundbreaking business conference. Register online at mwcoc.com or call 978-263-0010. Please join us on October 21st at the Reinvent Your Business Conference. I look forward to welcoming you. Welcome back to Business Matters. And now I have the pleasure of welcoming to Business Matters Elijah Martin-Merrill of Not Your Problem Incorporated, who is the president and owner of the company. Welcome to Business Matters, Elijah.
Thank you, Kathleen. It's good to be here.
I'm so glad you are. I'm so glad to welcome you. Tell us a little bit about your background and the business.
Okay, well, I grew up in Maynard, went to the Waldorf School in Lexington for grade school, and then the charter school out of Devens for high school. My first computer actually was built by my dad as a kit from the old Zenith Heath kit days. So that was my first technology experience right there. And then during high school, I was administering the network and the computer labs, which made for an interesting senior year. It became kind of a running joke. Teacher would come and knock on the window and just point like this at me and say, come on. And I'd have to get up and go and take care of whatever the problem was, and then I'd sneak back in somehow. And then after high school, I went to College of the Atlantic up in Bar Harbor, Maine. And while I was there, I was working in the IT department at the Jackson Laboratory. For those that don't know, the Jackson Lab's the largest employer in Hancock County, and it's one of the largest producers worldwide of lab mice. They have 4 to 5 million lab mice alive at any given time, and they ship them everywhere, including NASA. When NASA sent a rocket up, it was Jackson lab mice. While I was there, I was working on the desktop support side of their IT department, but in a lot of my downtime, I was helping out administer and manage the network. I actually wrote a piece of software there that helped to manage and find a computer on their network, which was 55 buildings and about 3,000 computers.
Interesting.
And I could find one and tell you where it was, which building, which port it was plugged into in about 5 seconds by the time I was done.
That's great.
And then after college, I went to work for an investment advisory firm in Boston, where I was the chief operating officer and the CTO. In reality, I was chief cook and bottle washer in a 7-person company. And that's where I continued to run IT systems, as well as building out the operational side of that company.
So tell me, where did the impetus come from to create Not Your Problem?
Well, I thought about trying to figure out a way of helping people with their computers. One of the things that's always bugged me is when I see somebody struggling with something, I want to help. And Not Your Problem effectively scratches that itch. In all seriousness, though, Not Your Problem was created out of the experiences I've had in the past to help to guide small businesses in their technology endeavors and their business automation processes as they grow. Small businesses, I found it was an underserved market, and with my experience in a large-ish corporate IT world, and then running a small company as one of a few people responsible for the day-to-day operations, I felt I had a good background between what a company was experiencing, a small company, and my technical ability to give a larger company capability to small companies, so I started my own.
Good for you, good for you. So tell me, what are some of the biggest challenges that your clients face?
Well, I'd like to start by discussing a large company and how they handle IT and the technology in general, and then point out where small companies just can't access what a large company has. A large company, as most people know, has an entirely dedicated technology department, sometimes 2 or 3, depending on how the company is structured, all with a CIO or CTO, depending on which title you use, Chief Technology Officer or Chief Information Officer, overseeing and guiding them and bridging that gap between the executive level and the technical implementation. Small companies don't have anybody in-house who's dedicated to know what they're doing, how their company runs, what they need, and they also don't have access to the skilled administrators and technical people to be able to implement something. So a lot of small companies end up with home solutions that really aren't suitable for them. They end up with incomplete solutions that don't work the way that you'd expect them to or that they should. And on the business side, they end up with processes that don't support their business, and they end up with a lot of workarounds. When there is a solution, they don't use it. I always say small companies suffer from a couple different problems when it comes to making technology decisions. The first one I'll call the salesman approach to small company IT, where a salesman comes in, maybe a cold call, maybe a friend of somebody who works there, but they're selling a product. They walk in, and it's the old hammer and nail problem. If you have a hammer, the world's a nail. They come in and tell you, hey, we've got this product, it's just what you need, but it doesn't fit with the business. The second one's the friend or family approach, where somebody who's good with home technology, good at running their MP3 player, attempts to implement technology for a company. And they end up with a hodgepodge of systems that leaves the business owner very exposed because they don't have control over their information. And in today's businesses, information is blood. Without the information that runs your business is shut down. There's a third one in here, if I'll remember it in a moment. But the third one they end up with is the just uncontrolled technology, where they don't have anybody looking at it. The owner's attempting to just keep stuff running. They go to Best Buy, buy a piece of technology, buy a computer, bring it in, then they'll call who knows who if something goes wrong. I've come across clients that have wanted to throw out a perfectly good, relatively new machine because they were having a problem with it and didn't know how to fix it. So those are the biggest challenges from a business standpoint. The technical challenges are the same things that you always hear about in the news. Data security, backup, what's going to happen if you have people that leave and try and take data with them. What's going to happen if you lose a critical piece of technology? How's your business going to keep running?
So tell me, how does Not Your Problem work with a new client, for say?
Well, clients tend to look for an IT solution when they've had a triggering event. So if you have a big data loss, for instance, I'll give an example of a client I've had for a while now that I was brought in, well, I met them and I told them what I did and I'd like to work with them, and they just lost most of their data. And it happened because they had somebody that was on what's called a break-fix relationship. They called the person in only when something was broken. The person had misset up their systems, and then when they were called in to diagnose the problem, the backup wasn't working, hadn't been verified, and then he misdiagnosed the problem. And he ended up sending their drives out, their hard drives out, for a $3,000 repair when there was nothing wrong with them. The problem wasn't the drives at all, it was the ability to connect to the drives. And when I walked into that situation, I was just, I don't get mad very often, but I was pretty mad on that one because it's almost abuse to have that level of incompetence sitting there. So that's when businesses tend to come to me, is when there's been something that's wrong. I'm trying to get ahead of that because nothing is better than when you can go into a working situation and just keep it working and make it better. I try not to change things when I go in unless I absolutely have to. Businesses have their own culture, their own ability to work internally, and they've figured stuff out that works for them, especially a long-established business. If you go in and try and change things, that's what the salesman IT problem is. They give you a solution, you sink money into it, and then you have to retrain everybody, you lose productivity. In some cases, people can't work with the new systems. So I try and just be a supportive force while providing the necessary services to ensure business continuity and functionality, and then guidance to help them grow.
So tell me, what can a new client of yours anticipate in terms of changes?
Well, from the administrative side, I try and consolidate all of their IT bills. That's just, I'll say that right up front, I want to be that single point of contact because it gives me the ability to monitor and provide the appropriate solutions, and it keeps things simple for the client. They're also going to see a couple new icons by their clock on their computer. These I call the minions. I've got two of them. There's an NYP monitoring minion and an NYP management minion. And you can actually reach me at minionmaster at nyp-itshours.com. The idea here is that one of the monitors the machine for potential problems, hardware health, making sure that the drives are working well, that the machine's not overloaded. It allows me to centrally manage all of the security and updates for the machine, as well as to roll back an update if something went wrong with it. A couple years ago, Microsoft released an update to the Bulgarian currency, the ability to display a currency symbol, and it broke Microsoft SQL Server 2005 clients. So anybody who was using it and installed the update, all of a sudden they couldn't work. And the monitoring and management minions allow me to roll back those updates. They also allow me to pre-approve them. Now the assistance minion, that's the little piece that allows me to help you out quickly. So when a client calls me and says, hey, I have a problem, I can't do X, or how do I do Y, I can virtually look over your shoulder and see what you're seeing on your screen and help you out in real time. And it gives the ability to just provide peace of mind.
very important to all clients.
Well, I hope so. Another change that they'd see, and occasionally I get an opportunity to demonstrate this right away, is I like to implement a backup system called Crash Plan to allow a versioned backup. And occasionally I get an opportunity right when a new client comes in where they've lost a file, usually through something they did. The classic one is hitting Control A instead of Control S to save it, and then hitting another key. You've just replaced your whole everything with one letter. Then you save it, and if you start copying things to a USB drive, for instance, you don't notice right away. You back it up, you copy everything to the USB drive, you've lost the file. A version backup gives you that, and occasionally I get the ability to demonstrate that right away to a client. Those are good feelings.
That's a good example. Does Not Your Problem offer different bundled services in terms of packages for clients to consider?
Oh, absolutely. There is kind of a minimum level of service I'd like to get people signed up to. I don't like the idea of having a bill associated with a phone call. I don't like it when somebody's scared to call me because they're afraid of running up a bill. So I like to get people on a contract that the very minimum provides what I call unlimited quick support. Unlimited quick support gives you the ability to give me a call for a 5-10 minute question. I'll answer it, work with you. I'm not going to send you a bill or start the timer when you call like that if you're on a contract, because I don't want you afraid to call. If you're afraid to call, then both of us get frustrated. And then I get to switch from IT consulting services and partnering to IT counseling, which literally means you call up either pissed off or annoyed or frustrated or in some cases near tears. And the first thing I have to do before we can even fix your problem is counsel you, get you calmed down, tell you, look, everything's going to be okay. Now, what happened? So I do like to have everybody on a contract.
Excellent.
There are cases where I don't, but for the most part, I'd prefer to have an ongoing relationship. And then there are different levels of service depending on what you need. A small client, so 1 or 2 person business, just needs a basic desktop support package, whereas a larger company needs a full management suite where I'm managing and monitoring the servers, and with those I bundle in included time as well for on-site work.
That's great. So you've really thought through the whole gamut, the spectrum. Good for you.
I've tried to, and I keep changing things as something comes up, because every situation's different, and anybody who tells you otherwise is not paying attention.
Quick question before we conclude. In such a connected world that we live in, how does Not Your Problem handle security, given that you have access to your clients' computers and their data?
So that's a wonderful question, and it's something that I feel is overlooked a lot with IT in general. Security today has become such a critical piece of everything. And I've seen systems that are just improperly secured or insufficiently secured. As people are running around today, they're coming into contact quite often with dual-factor authentication. This is where you go to log in to your bank, for instance, and it says, we just sent you a text message, please put in the code. So all access from outside of my local physical network is secured by dual access controls. And I carry around one little key here. It's right on my keychain with all the rest of my keys. And this actually, when you plug it into a computer, shows up as a keyboard. And when I push the button, it puts in about a 35-character long code that's only good for 30 seconds. And that code gives me access along with a username and password. And in most cases, you also would need to have my laptop to be able to use it. So that's how I secure the outside access. All of my service providers, like Code 42, for instance, that provides my backup service, all of it's heavily encrypted. And that's one of my requirements. I don't recommend anything to a client that I don't use myself. And for the most part, the solutions that I'm working with are the ones that I used working in the financial sector. And I have been fortunate enough to come across as my NYP hat on, that I've come across financial firms that are using the same products that I use to secure their financial data.
It's so wonderful to hear about your business and how well thought out your connection with your clients are, and how you're trying to be proactive in meeting their needs. And we wish you much continued success with Not Your Problem, Elijah.
Thank you, Kathleen.
You're welcome. The Middlesex West Chamber has a fabulous event coming up that I'd like to encourage everyone to buy tickets for now. The Chamber's Taste of Middlesex takes place on Tuesday, November 15th at the Westford Regency Ballroom from 5:30 to 8 p.m. Please bring your family and friends, as all 8 towns in our region celebrate a food, wine, and beer extravaganza, showcasing 40 restaurants, wineries and breweries and bakeries, and other specialty food vendors. Attendees will have the opportunity to vote for their favorite vendors in the People's Choice Awards. It proves to be a wonderful event, and you will not want to miss the event of the year. Tickets are on sale now via the Chamber's website at mwcoc.com, or you can buy tickets in person at our Taste Ticket partner locations, also listed on the Chamber's website. Please don't delay in getting your tickets today. We will be back shortly with our next guest. Hello, I'm Kathleen McDonald, Executive Director of the Middlesex West Chamber of Commerce, and I am so thrilled to tell you about a fabulous event the Chamber is presenting, the Taste of Middlesex, a food, wine, and beer extravaganza showcasing 40 restaurants, wineries, and breweries from Middlesex West. Everyone in the entire Middlesex region and beyond is welcome to come. Invite your family, friends, neighbors, business associates, and colleagues to join you. This is such a fun event. You will not want to miss it. The Taste of Middlesex is happening on Tuesday, November 15th, and is being hosted by the Westford Regency. In addition to tasting fantastic food and sampling great wines and beers, attendees will have the chance to vote for their favorite vendors in the People's Choice Awards. Our fantastic Taste of Middlesex sponsors are Cambridge Savings Bank, Concord Tea Cakes, Visiting Angels Home Care Services, Cornerstone Dental Group, Digital Federal Credit Union, Enterprise Bank, and Gould's Clothing. On top of all this great fun, food, and drink, the Middlesex West Chamber is collaborating with the American Cancer Society on November 15th at the Taste of Middlesex for our Light Up Middlesex initiative. Help us illuminate hope by dedicating a luminaria that can be purchased before or at the Taste of Middlesex. This is such a fantastic event. I strongly urge you to buy your tickets now. Go to the Chamber's website, mwcoc.com, for more information about the Taste of Middlesex. You can order tickets online using a credit card at our website, mwcoc.com, or you can pay in cash for tickets at our Taste Ticket partners throughout the area. A listing of our ticket partners is on the Chamber's website. The Middlesex West Chamber of Commerce is a 27-year-old regional chamber of commerce serving the 8 communities of Acton, Boxborough, Carlisle, Concord, Littleton, Maynard, Stowe, and Westford. We are very appreciative of the Chamber's corporate sponsors, Care One at Concord, Emerson Hospital, Middlesex Savings Bank, and Westford Regency Inn and Conference Center. The mission of the Chamber is to strengthen our communities by voicing support for and advocating the promotion of business. Come one, come all to the Taste of Middlesex, truly an amazing food, wine, and beer extravaganza you definitely want to be a part of. Buy your tickets now for the Taste. I look forward to seeing you at the Taste of Middlesex on November 15th. Welcome back to Business Matters. I have the pleasure of welcoming to Business Matters Lester Gould, co-owner of Gould's Clothing. Welcome to Business Matters, Lester.
Well, thank you for having me today.
I'm so glad to have you. And tell us a little bit about Gould's Clothing. I know it's been around for quite a long time. Can you give us some of the history?
Sure. Well, Gould's we have quality merchandise and brand names, moderately priced, men's and women's clothing. My dad and his brother began the stores in 1934 in Clinton. And then in after my dad fought in World War II, he came back, and in 1953 they expanded to Hudson, and my dad took over the Hudson store. And then in 1972 we ventured into Acton and built the Gould's Plaza in Acton.
What a long, wonderful history. That's wonderful. That's great.
Thank
Tell
you.
us a little bit about the kind of clothing that you sell.
Well, we sell moderately priced clothes, and we have everything from casual clothes, Levi jeans, to dress clothes, suits, sport coats, men's and women's. We have moderately priced, not too high, but nice quality clothes. So that's what we have.
That makes a difference, the quality.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about the current styles and your hot lines.
Okay. Our hot sportswear lines are Vineyard Vines, which the young kids love. Some of the people who want to be young love it too. And Tommy Bahama. Those are both very hot lines, men's and women's. And we sell some very traditional sportswear lines like Pendleton and Woolrich. Those are classics, and every year they, people are looking for classic looks. Some of the styles right now, the trend is toward slim fit and contemporary fit, which is trimmer and more close fitting in both in casual wear and suits and sport coats, and even in women's with slim jeans, especially straight leg and bootleg jeans, but cut slim.
Interesting how the styles cycle around.
Yes, it does. Yeah.
And have you always sold clothing, both men's and women's clothing?
Well, no. We started out as just a men's store,
okay.
and didn't venture into women's until 1953 when we expanded into Hudson. There was a store right next to ours that was a woman's store, and I don't know. I wasn't around then. But so I don't know the exact details, but I know that eventually the woman who was running that store became our manager for our women's department.
Oh, I see.
Which we called the Redwood Shop. That name has kind of faded out over the years, but I think that was a reference to her ladies' shop, which was now part of Gould's.
Very interesting transition. Great. Are all the clothes you sell made in foreign countries, or do you have some merchandise that's American made?
Well, we try to buy American made when we can, because that's it's important to a lot of customers and it's important to us. And actually, there's areas that we can buy American. Wigwam Socks is an American-made company. Brighton Leathers, both belts and wallets and handbags. Those are made in the USA. Some of our better suit lines, Hart Scheffner Marks is probably our top line, and that's made in Chicago. We sell a lot of Canadian lines too, and Canada is North America, so it's almost like being made in America. And some good clothing lines, and also women's lines. Nomadic Traders is made in Canada. Quite a few of our lines.
That's great to keep that support.
Yeah,
of
and
merchandise.
actually, we're going to be carrying some alpaca, an alpaca line, which is grown right here in Groton. It's a local
My goodness,
farm
how
that is
wonderful.
that approached us, and so we're very excited. It's I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right. It's an Irish or a Gaelic word, their name is Lena Grain, which they say means beautiful sunset, something like that.
Wonderful.
Yeah, so
we'll look forward to that.
Yes, we
How
are looking
exciting.
forward to that.
Great. Tell me a little bit about your tailoring and alterations department.
So one of the things that separates us, I believe, is the fact that we offer tailoring. It's free for our own clothes. If we sell a suit, generally we're going to alter it for no extra charge. And even pants and even women's clothes. Traditionally, the stores have not always altered women's clothes for free, but we do.
That's great.
And we have a full-time master tailor, and we also have a full-time seamstress. So it's a very important part of our business and something that is hard to find. And our tailors have accents. They're from foreign countries. Our tailor is Turkish, our seamstress Brazilian. And I think in general, you don't want somebody working on your suit if they don't have an accent.
I'm sure your customers very much appreciate that service.
It's very important. And we also do outside tailoring too. So people ask us that all the time. They're looking to have something altered, and they're leery of bringing it into the store if it wasn't bought at our store, but we certainly will do outside alterations.
Excellent. Great, great. Tell me, you rent tuxedos, do you, for proms and weddings, other formal occasions?
Tuxedos have become a huge part of our business. We rent and we sell tuxedos, but certainly the rental area has skyrocketed, especially during prom season. Prom season's become one of our busiest times of the year. It's almost like having a second Christmas.
Wow.
And I think a lot of, we're priced very reasonably. Our service in the tuxedos, we have the tailor shop there. If somebody, when they come in, if we need to tweak the leg length, something we can do right there, usually while they wait. So it's really skyrocketed, and it's a lot of fun. It's hard work, but it's a lot of fun.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, wonderful. So certain times of the year are very, very busy for you.
Yeah, I mean, Christmas, of course, and fourth quarter, the retail cycle is kind of geared toward Christmas, and we fall into that. So fourth quarter is our busiest time, and the month of December is crazy, and we hope it is anyway.
Yes.
Yeah.
So tell me, how do you plan for these seasonal fluctuations that you have in retail?
Well, we certainly buy for Christmas and for fourth quarter in general. We also have to, staff for that as well. And like I said, with the proms, May has become staffing-wise as difficult to staff for as Christmas.
Well, it's great to have at least two burgeoning seasons
Yes.
of the year.
Yes, it is.
In retail. That's great.
And
That's
also, women, especially at the early part of each season, both in the fall and the spring, the early part is very important for the women's department because women want to see what the new fashions are. If they like something or if they need something, they want to get it early because it may not be available if they wait.
I've learned that lesson.
Yeah.
So tell me, how is Gould's different from the chain stores and the department stores that we have around us?
Well, we're very service oriented, and we can deliver a level of service that I think the big box stores and the department stores just can't. Where our staff is very experienced. There's always myself or my brother, or the owners. One of us is always on the sales floor. My daughter worked for a department store when she was in high school, and after a week of training mostly on their computer, she all of a sudden was working in the men's department, and she knew nothing about men's clothes, but this is what the department stores do. Their newest employees end up interfacing with the customer, where our newest employees are doing stock work and supporting the staff that has been there for a long time in working with the customers.
And I'm sure that staff has built up such wonderful rapport with your repeat clients.
That's very
They
true.
know
Most
them
of our
so
clients
well.
we do know on a first name basis. We do special ordering for them. We just go out of our way to satisfy our customers' needs.
So service is the big competitive edge you feel in terms of differentiating yourself from the chain stores.
Yes, that's true.
That's great. And tell me, just to change topic a little bit, I know Gould's has a wonderful reputation for being very community oriented. And so tell me a little bit about your community involvement with Gould's Clothing, as well as your involvement with the Chamber of Commerce here in Middlesex West.
Well, as you know, I've been involved with the Chamber pretty much since its inception. So for 27 some odd years, Gould's has been involved with the Chamber. My brother is in Rotary, and and my dad was in Rotary as well. So we're a long line of Rotarians, which are very community oriented.
Yes.
We help sponsor Narrow Park with the fireworks and also the concert series, and that's a great place, a great venue, and you know, we really feel strongly about sponsoring them. We've run blood drives in the store before. We've had little kids being fingerprinted for security. You know how that
Yes.
that goes. We've done that in the store. So we've been in Acton for a long time, and we feel strongly about the community.
Well, Gould's is exemplary. You really live by example. And we all take our hat off to you and to Gould's Clothing for your tremendous example and service to the community. Thank you so much. And thank you for being with us at Business Matters. We wish you continued success.
Thank you very much.
I hope you can join Business Matters in October as we look forward to welcoming 3 additional Middlesex West businesses, the Thoreau Club, the Trustees, and Spark Co-Workspace. Thank you so much for watching Business Matters. The Middlesex West Chamber of Commerce would like to acknowledge and thank our broadcast sponsors, Emerson Hospital and the Westford Regency Inn and Conference Center.